This particular one light here is going to be my favorite lights that Zhiyun makes because I'm the type of person that needs a lot of power. So I've been waiting for a long time for them to create something like this. This is the MOLUS B500. This is the MOLUS B100. They make available as 100 watts, 200 watts, 300 watts, and 500 watts. There will be many videos regarding these lights here, so if you're looking for a quick thing, this video might not be the video for you, but if you're actually seriously interested in purchasing these lights, I can pretty much guarantee you this video is going to be a one-stop shop. I'm going to be showing you guys in meticulous detail everything they want you to know about this light, just like if you were on a Zhiyun booth, side by side with the vendor and the lights here, and also how to do a firmware upgrading using the app. So stay tuned, don't go nowhere, I'll be right back. And the usual disclaimer to get that out of the way, Zhiyun sent me these lights for me to review and to test. I don't get paid to say anything. This video is not sponsored by Zhiyun, and the reason why I'm wearing this shirt is because I like the brand and I requested a couple shirts. And just in case if you guys want to know a little bit about myself, my name is Luis, my company name is Art Video Productions, and the front of the studio here is actually my retail division. So filmmakers and photographers, they come here. We sell lighting, audio, and everything. So the things that I do for Zhiyun is more than just a YouTube review here. I was actually an exhibitor for both of these places representing Zhiyun. This one here is the B&H Expo last year, and the big one at the NAB 2024, which I just came back about 2 weeks ago. And the experience that I had there was nothing short than amazing, besides the whole team, which to me they're pretty much like family. And we had everything they can think of in that booth. We were loud, we had sound system, big screens, YouTubers demonstrating the gimbals and some lights there. We had workshops. We have everything they can think of for the maximum entertainment. Some people even recognized my face. Oh, this is the Art Video guy. I thought it was super cool.
I appreciate the very detailed reviews, and I sit through every second of it.
Another cool thing that happened in Las Vegas there, instead of the usual hotel deal, Zhiyun actually rented for us a team of 20, 2 massive Airbnb cribs, which has everything that I needed. I was extremely comfortable there. Each bedroom, they have their own bathroom. So, and also the coolest thing is, since we were at the house, you get to see how everybody looked like in the morning, everybody with a messy hair and everything. It was a family experience. So to me, it was amazing being there. And of course, we had our own people in charge specifically to do the Instagram reels for the NAB coverage. But I just took my phone here to make a little video, nothing crazy, not even a gimbal. I just used my Ninja Walk with the phone like this here because I didn't have time, right? So that's going to be at the end of the video if you guys get to watch it a little bit. To me, it was an amazing experience. Both of these lights comes in this type of box here, but inside you're going to find a high density foam. As you can see, everything has its own compartment. So inside the box, besides the light itself, you're going to find a protective LED cap, which in this case here is transparent, which I like. And also a standard reflector, and also comes with the Zhiyun logo imprinted in here. And also a 10-foot long power cord. In my case, is the US version. Any other accessory you might have to buy separately, which by the way, Zhiyun actually, I just discovered that they made a remote control for this light, but it's not wireless. Somehow you connect to the light here. The cable is about 2 meters long or 6-7 feet long. But there are also options to buy an actual remote for these lights here. So regarding the specs of all 4 lights that Zhiyun makes on the B series, instead of me saying stuff here that you can actually quickly forget, I'm going to be leaving a bunch of screenshots on the video here. So you're welcome to pause the video and take a look at the stuff they want. And just in case you are interested in purchasing this light, I would appreciate if you guys use my affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra. All it does, it helps the channel, and I earn a tiny little commission from them. Thank you. So the light itself is pretty simplistic. On the left side, they have the dim button, which you can actually adjust the brightness from 1% increments all the way to 100%, and also shortcuts from 0 to 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100, back to 0. And the CCT button is on the right side, which you can control in 100 Kelvin increments, or shortcuts from 2700 Kelvin, 3200, 4300, 5500, and 6500. So I'm going to show you here real quick the outside of the light. As you can see on this side of the light, we have a USB-C port for upgrading the firmware and other things. And of course, you can actually update the firmware using the app. On the back of the light is the display, and the knobs here are on the side as well. And these knobs, they feel exactly the way the G300 feels, and also the G200. At the front of the light here, when you're actually using a modifier, even a big modifier like that, or even bigger, such as a 120 centimeter, this whole thing here in the front is made of metal. this part and this part right here. And it also features a front glass element, especially if you want to take this outdoors, either with an extension cord or with a powerful power bank that's capable of powering a 500-watt light. Bugs are not going to be crawling here and damaging and burning or staining your LED. It has a glass right here. I've been doing lighting since 1991, so this is something that actually might help you guys out with something here. So the first thing that I do upon unboxing any light of any brand of any price, the first thing that I want you to know is what the light is going to do at 1%, for example. This is a 500-watt light. This is a 100-watt light. Look what this light is doing at 1%. Why is this important? Because let's say that you're doing an astro time lapse, something at night or something that requires a very long exposure at close proximity. Somehow the light needs to be as weak as possible, and this light gives it to you. And the 500-watt also gives you that as well. So this is the light set to 1%, and I can almost look at the LED. This is a 500-watt light, and that 1% is awesome because it is as gentle as it can be. And the second thing, of course, that I check is the fan, what the fan is going to do, because most of our interviews, they're done in quiet rooms. And again, this is a 500-watt light that needs some cooling going on here, right? So this light actually not only has one fan, but it has 3 fans, one on each side, as you can see here, and including the back of the light to cool the capacitors here. Same exact way with the 100-watt light, you have a fan on each side here, and also a fan on the back. But the fan on the B100 is very similar to the X100. You can't hear the fan. Now the 500-watt light here, if you need the fan to be quiet, not quiet, actually silent, 100%, this light will not activate the fan if you go from 30% and under. The fan will not turn on at all. If you crank it up to 50%, the fan noise is still manageable. Another thing that I check is the construction and the size of the light. So the size here, for example, I have an iPhone Pro Max here, and as you can see, excluding the handle and the balance adapter, it's pretty much the same length of the iPhone, and this is a 500-watt light body. And lifting with a single finger, you can see the light is extremely lightweight. So this weighs pretty much nothing for a 500-watt light. But I do like the plastic for that reason, because it is lightweight, and this is what we're looking for. Otherwise, we're going to be buying another 500-watt somewhere else, which is this big and a lot heavier than that, right? So plastic is okay. You actually have an umbrella hole that you can actually mount an umbrella if you are lazy to mount a softbox here, or if you just want to use an umbrella, you can. I was also looking at the base of the lights here. I can't tell if this is actually metal or a super high density plastic. Either way, this feels like metal, and I don't see this breaking whatever it is that you do here. Another thing that I check on this light, especially being a bicolor light, is what that's going to do when it's set to 4300 degrees Kelvin, which, by the way, this light ranges from 2700 Kelvin to 6500 degrees Kelvin. So with my light meter here at whatever distance, whatever ISO settings on the light meter, it was reading, for example, F22 right here. And as I changed the color temperature, at least from 3200 Kelvin to about 6000 Kelvin, it kept at F22, slightly less F11.9, F22, 11.8. So in that degree of exposure is almost negligible. But some lights, they actually went a whole stop brighter, which is a pain because I have to compensate the exposure on my camera every single time I tweak my colors here. So this light software intelligently compensates the degree of brightness in correlation to the color temperature that you choose. So again, from about 3200 degrees Kelvin to 6000 Kelvin, your exposure is going to be pretty much 98% the same. To me, that's extremely important. As far as the accuracy in the colors here of most lights that I tested, that I've seen, including the expensive lights, you have to start above 10, 11%. And you can actually use this light, of course, at 1%, 3%, 8%, 9%. But again, the most accurate part of this light starts at 10, 11%. And also you should wait at least 15 minutes or so for the lights to warm up for the total accuracy of the light before you start shooting. The same way you gotta wait at least half an hour for calibrating your computer monitor, because the monitors need to get warmed up, otherwise your calibration is going to be wrong. So the same thing applies to the LED here. Another thing that's not cool to do when you actually have the LED, especially in the winter, very cold light, don't start the light at 100%, just gradually ramp it up. When you actually power off the light, set the light first to 1% or 0%, and then you power off the light here, and then you power it on, and then you gradually ramp up from 0 to 100%. This is just a good practice to do on LED lights. Another very interesting thing on these lights here is because every time I power on an LED light, it usually takes between 2 to 5 seconds to boot. This one here is nearly instant. It takes about exactly 1 second. So 0, 1. The light is actually ready to be used. In 1 second, this thing boots up, which is awesome. And of course, when you power off the light, let's say I want to do 2700 degrees Kelvin at 10%. When you power off the light, when you actually power it back on, it's going to remember everything. It's at 10%, 2700 degrees Kelvin. Another great thing. And the B100, the same exact thing. When you power it on, in about a second, it's ready to go. Boom. Right now, I have the lights back in my office here, which is absolute silence here. The B500 is set to 50%. The fan occasionally turns on and off, and this is the fan noise that you hear. Now I'm going to be removing the microphone. Right now the fan stopped. Now it turns back on. Now if we set this light to 30% intensity here on the brightness, this fan will never turn on. So anything below 30 to up to 30%, this fan will never turn on, which makes this a silent 150, 180 watt light, if you will. Now if you actually crank this up to 100%, this is as loud as the fan will get. And of course, temperature matters. The fan is going to be turning on faster when it's warmer. Right now is 64 degrees Fahrenheit in this room. And this is the loudest the fan gets. I let this run for about 12 to 15 minutes. I'm going to be removing my microphone again. And this is what the fan is doing. Putting it back here. Now I'm going to be behind the camera so you can hear what the fan is doing at 100%. So I'm going to be quiet here for 5 seconds. So this is what you hear, and your talent will be probably at least this distance from the light, at least arm's reach, right? Maybe 4 feet away. And this is what it sounds like. I'm going to be quiet again for 5 seconds. And again, this is a 500 watt light. It's got to have a fan. So 50%, 60%, no problem. And at 30% and lower, this becomes a silent light. Now I have the B100 cranked up to 100% brightness. There's a tiny little bit of rain outside. It's just like drizzling, which still makes this a quiet room. And this is as loud as the fan gets. And I'm at this distance right here. And the microphone close to the fan sounds like this. Fan is on, as you can see here. So this light, forget about it. There's no problems with the fan whatsoever, even at 100%. Right now I have the B500 with the largest modifier that Zhiyun makes, which is the 90D. As you can see, it's a huge modifier. Even if you hooked up a 120 centimeters here, which is even a heavier softbox. So when you aim the light in the position that you want, you don't need to over tighten. Just give it a little tighten here. And as you can see, when you actually do this here, nothing droops. It just stays there. Same thing over here. Lock it down, good to go. You don't need to over tighten, and this is gonna stay here, okay? And also I like the fact that it comes with this ratchet knob system here, because if this thing is in the way here, you can actually change the position here, which is great. I love when they put stuff like this here. And to eject the softbox out of here, here's the knob that you press it, rotate, and the softbox is out. It's located right here. And the same exact thing with the tiny one here, the B100 watts. When you actually force on the softbox here, it does not droop. So whatever position that you leave as, it will stay. So you go here, it will stay. You come here, it will stay. Now to make sense here with physics, why would you use a softbox this big with a 100 watt light? That doesn't make any sense, because the light will have to cut through all this distance and all these diffusers built in on the softbox here. So the correct softbox you use with a light of 60 watts, 80 or 100 watts of power will be something like this here, which Zhiyun also makes the 60D, which is a 60 centimeter softbox. And you can actually use the grid or not. If you decide to use the grid on any softbox, keep in mind that you're also limiting the light output in order for the light to actually block light spill, right? And notice that this softbox, there's no way to open here. You simply slide your finger here. You have full control of the softbox. then everything makes sense here. The proper softbox with the proper wattage of this light. And the same thing, you adjust as needed. I received this light way before the launch date of this product here, so currently, for some reasons that Zhiyun wants not to be available, it will be available to you, don't worry about it. Just right now it's not available. So I actually have to use a beta app of the ZY Vega, which is the name of the app, which is right here. And right now I have the B500 connected. So the app is very simple. You have the brightness here from 0 to 100%. And also the color temperature here. And at the bottom here you have the shortcuts from daytime to tungsten lamp and all those things here. And you can also power on and off the light. And I did not connect the B100 yet, so let's do that. Make sure the light is on. To triple tap the Bluetooth, you press the button on the left here 3 times. And then you see a reset, which is doing right now. Resetting the Bluetooth is useful because sometimes I want to jump from an iPhone to an Android, so you have to reset the connection the same way you actually have to reset the Bluetooth speaker to connect from one phone to another, right? So right now the only light connected to the app is the B500. Let's connect to B100 right now. And as you can see, you just click on the little blue plus mark on the this side of the screen here. So you press that, add device, and there you go, there it is. And then on the bottom, click Add, and then Done. And there it is right here, B100. Now, there's a firmware update. This is my chance to show you guys a quick tutorial how easy it is to update the firmware on these lights. I have just updated the firmware on the B500 right now, and now I'm going to show you guys in real time here, updating the firmware on this light using the app, how simple that is. As you can see here, the third bottom option here is the actual B100. So you notice there's a little red or orange dot here on the side, so you click on that. So the current firmware version is 1.7.5, and then you click on firmware upgrade, and then upgrade now. Now it's downloading, and now it's upgrading. So on the back of the light here, you're going to see icons saying update or upgrade. Yeah, upgrade, and then you wait. Then upgrade finished. Click done, the light will reboot. It takes just a few seconds to finish upgrading, and then there it is. And then click on that, and there it is. The light is actually fully operable here using the app. And also, just in case you have multiple B500s, for example, you can actually identify each one by clicking on this little lamp icon here. So once you tap it, this light is going to flash, the other light is going to flash, which is pretty cool. So right now I have the B500 with the Zhiyun 90D softbox here, fully open, no grid or anything like that. And this is the actual light, as you can see. There it is right there. I'm shooting with the Canon R3 set to ISO 500 and f4. Right now I have the light exactly set to 20% and about 6 feet from me here. And this is what it looks like at 100% with a 90 centimeter softbox. As you can see, my face is completely blown out. And right now I'm at, let me count here. So 1, 2, 13, 14, 15 feet away from the softbox, and this is what my face looks like. So there is plenty of power for whatever you want to do. And again, I'm shooting this at f4, not f2.8. It will double the distance if you do that. So if you're shooting f2.8, you can go all the way back here and it's still lit. You know, so this is actually plenty of power. I'm doing a test here with this light side by side. The reason why they're side by side and not in front is because I want to keep them separate in my face here. I'm showing you a green/magenta comparison here. So right now I have the B500 on this side set to 15% and the B100 set to 51% on this side here. I try to position my face as precise as possible between the two lights, so I'm going to reset my meter. It doesn't really matter. But, you know, I'm reading here F5 6.1 and then clicking here again, F5 6.1, right on the dot. So just by eyeballing, I've been doing this for a long time, since the time of, you know, tungsten lights, fluorescent lights, HMI lighting, LED lights. Just by eyeballing, I don't need the Seconic spectrometer in front of my face here to tell that this is actually 5% more green or 5% more magenta here. So as you can see, there's a slight difference in color here, but it is negligible. So the B500 is slightly towards the magenta, but to like 5%, if that. Same exact thing here towards the green side. So right now you can actually pause the video and look for yourself that using these lights side by side here, it will make no difference in color in your face here, at least if you don't consider the 4 or 5%. But again, pause the video and you'll see what's going on here. As you can see, there's no problem whatsoever. So these lights, they're very close. And as you know, most LEDs, they tend to go on a green side anyway. So give this light some working hours, it will fall back on the green side again. But the thing is, with the lights falling into the green, it's not a good thing either, because every single LED light will do that, so you have to do your corrections anyway. But again, the B500 will eventually sit back to the green side. Same thing with this one here. Right now I have the camera set to 1/2000th of a second for flickering test. As you can see here, I'm pressing the button, 2,000th of a second. And as you can see, there's no flickering problems with these lights. And here's another test with the camera set to 240 frames a second, and to access the main menu, absolutely no flickering at all. So this series of lights that Zhiyun makes, they are primarily meant for studio work. It doesn't mean that you cannot take the light outside. You can actually run an extension cord with the appropriate gauge. And also you can actually power these lights without any outlets or any extension cords. There are power banks available out there. They're not cheap, but they will provide you the same thing that you could do with a V-mount set here, so that's not a problem either. But so the options are there. You can actually power these lights outdoors with the adequate power supply. So here's a light intended primarily to be a studio light, limited to plugging into the outlet, right? I'm gonna change that right now. This is a 300 watt capable power bank. I wish it was a 500 watts. They are also available to purchase, but right now I have only 300 watts, right? So no cheating. Here's the power cord, and I'm gonna plug it in right here. The AC is on, power on the light. Boom, there you go. So right now I have the light set to 50%, which means it's approximately 250 watts now, which is on the safe limits of this thing without, over stressing the unit. You don't want to do 65% because you're going to be at the 300 watts, right? So there you go. You can actually have a light that can be powered outdoors with plenty of power. That's 250 watts out of this, running on something that costs less than 200 bucks. So there you go. Problem solved. You can actually take these lights outdoors without the need for an outlet. Make sure you don't accidentally set to 100% because this is only 300 watts against 500. Make sure that does not happen. But keep in mind, these things do have a fan because they need to cool off all the circuitry here, especially with the big load that you're doing right here. Keep that in mind. You might want to run an extension cord to keep this unit away from your set in case it is sensitive to noise. When you buy a power supply, make sure it is a pure sine wave certified device, which is safe for this type of circuitry here, your Blu-ray player or anything with sensitive electronics inside. What you don't want to buy is a modified square wave, which is like this here. Sine wave is this shape, right? Which is a totally different thing. Check this out, I got another item to add to the video here, which I'm actually putting somewhere in there. So this is the time to show you guys the perfect chance to compare the B500 with the B300. As you can see here, they are identical in size. It's just that one is 500, the other one is 300. Same exact hardware, same exact material. And also, I have the opportunity now to show you guys that these lights can be actually operated with the remote control instead of the actual app. Of course, you can actually use the ZY Vega app, but I'm a big fan of remote because sometimes I don't feel like unlocking my phone or risking dropping on the ground because of the application, right? So if you're like me, you're gonna really love this remote control, and it has everything that you access on the back of the lights here, such as menus, the effects, and everything else. It behaves exactly the same as if you were pressing these buttons here. So this remote is awesome, and the actual wire here is about 2 meters long, which is approximately 6 or 7 feet long. So here's the actual remote, so you can actually do manually here the brightness and also the color temperature, or using the shortcuts, 20%, 40, 60, 80, and 100. Same exact way that you access the light on the app or on the back of the light here, right? Same exact thing with the color temperature. And also, you can also access the menus here, which means you can change the language, you can actually reset the Bluetooth, everything through this awesome remote. And you can also access the mode here, which will control the CCT and also the effects. everything you can do here or in the app, you can do here. The only thing that I don't like about this remote here is because I don't know why they put a tinted acrylic here, because it will be hard to read outdoors because it is actually very dim here. They should put a regular glass here or acrylic so the numbers, or even an option to adjust the brightness here. But I still prefer the remote. But the cool thing about this light, again, there's no ballast. All you have to do is to plug in the AC cable, and also with this remote here, all you have to do is to plug in on the available USB-C, which is built in on every one of these lights here. At any time with the light on, you can hot unplug this and plug it back in, no problem. This remote costs roughly about 40 bucks, which is very inexpensive and is very lightweight and very convenient. Again, no ballast on this light, and if you don't feel like using the app, now you have the remote control. And also includes a little lanyard here, so you can actually put anywhere you like on a stand. This is probably something that you guys want to ask next. Can I use the remote at the same time I'm using the app? Absolutely. So I'm actually using the app right now, as you can see. So the brightness, the CT and everything, right? And it also updates on the remote here, so it's showing on the app 34.9%, but on the remote it's going to show only 34% or 35, 36%, not the decimals, okay? So you can actually pick up from here. So right now I'm at 2700 Kelvin. I can actually modify the color temperature here right now. As you can see, it's modifying it, but it does not update here when we actually touch here on the remote, only from the app to the remote. Just, you know, something to bring out here. The only thing you can't do on the remote is to power off the app like you see me doing here right now. So everything else you can access, the effects, everything on the remote and on the app. You can also reset the Bluetooth by going to the menu, as you can see here, and then you can execute this way. Or you can also triple tap here, Bluetooth reset. Now, which one should you get, the B500 or the B300? That depends on your budget. If you can afford both 500s, that's nice, because if you need the extra power, there you go. All I have to do is to crank out the brightness here, and there it is, right? The 300 watts will be always 300 watts. Now, if this light was a 250 watts, I guess what would make sense in physics, this will be exactly a full f-stop brighter than the 500. Since this is a 300 watt light, the difference in brightness between the two is 0.6 f-stops, which is slightly over a half a stop. So 300 watts and 500 watts. But again, if you can actually afford the 500 watts, I still recommend it just in case you need more brightness. All you have to do is to crank up the brightness here, and there you go. And of course, you can actually buy the 500 as the main light and this one here as a fill light. Now, regarding fan noise between the two lights, this is again 500 watt lights, which means the fan is required to spin faster, even though these lights are built the same exact way, the same hardware, same fans and same everything. So this fan is going to be slightly louder. Now, either one of these lights, again, if you plan to have a quiet room for an interview, you're not going to have a problem at all with the fan, and I don't clean the audio of my fan. If it is there, I actually have to leave it there, I guess. But I never had a problem with fan before because I know what to do with this type of fans here. So you're not going to have any problem whatsoever with the B500, especially if you set the light to about 60% and lower. 50% and 40% is extremely quiet. Right now I'm doing a fan noise test with the 500 and the 300. So the room here is about 40 decibels, which is pretty much dead silence, right? And this is the fan running here. The light is at 40%. And both of these lights are set to 40% here. So this is the noise that you hear, which is technically none. So I'm this close to the fan here. My microphone is right here and right here. And from 5 feet away. So if you worry about fan noise on an interview set, don't worry about it, especially that you guys use, f2.8, f1.8 or whatever, so not to worry about anything like that. Even at 60%, no problem. So I'm gonna crank up the fan here. So the difference in fan noise between the 500 and the 300 is slightly higher on the 500 because it requires more heat. They're both set to 40%, so I'm gonna be putting the phone very close. I just wanted you to see the difference between both fans. They're both lights at 40%. It's almost the same. Now let's crank this up to 60%. Right now the light is set to 60% on both lights. Here's the 500 and this is the 300, and fan is not a problem again. So I'm very close to the light here. I'm just going to show you. You step away about 4 feet. Now let's crank this up to 100%. That's when things start to get a little noisy because physics. This is a small light and there's a lot of heat going on here, so these fans need to dissipate the heat. Now as you can see, the fan is going to ramp up. Now you're definitely going to hear the fan even from here. But the frequency that these fans emit is easy to clean up in post-production because of the type of noise. Look, the fan is actually going higher now. So now let's measure which fan is louder, the 500 or the 300. About 68. It's almost the same at 100%. So keep in mind that when you use these lights at 100%, the fan will definitely be audible, so you either have to keep these lights at a distance, just like any other 500 watt light or 1000 watt light. By the way, the room temperature here is 71 degrees Fahrenheit. So right now I put the light to 40%, both lights, just waiting for the fans. There you go. Now they're going to quiet down. There you go. I'm waiting for this one here. This one actually stopped completely at this temperature. This one will eventually shut up as well. But at this temperature here, 71 degrees Fahrenheit, the fan is not even spinning. The 300 at 40%, the fan is not even spinning. And this one here at 40%, the fan is spinning gently. So again, with both of these lights, you're not going to have any issue whatsoever with those lights from 60% down. Ideally, 40% is the sweet spot here, because these fans here occasionally turn on and off. That's even better. And again, most of us are going to shoot from f2.8 or f1.8 or f1.4, so you're probably going to have these lights probably set to 10% with a softbox installed. So no problem at all. And this is the front compared to the B500 and the B300 LED wise. So this is obviously a huge LED. I love the size here. And both feature the same front glass element, so bugs don't crawl up in here and damage your LED. So everything is protected. Now if you choose to buy both of these lights, great. And as you know, there's no way to actually power this outdoors via DC because there's no way to mount any V-mount batteries here. So again, this is actually very affordable. Most of these power supplies, they cost about $280 to $350. Now V-mount battery to power either one of these lights here, especially this one here, is going to require at least a 200 or 250 watt hour each V-mount battery, which is actually very, very expensive. So this is actually a great solution. Now if you choose to power the 500, yes, it is possible to still power with something like this here, but that's going to cost you a lot more money because it is a 500 watt power supply. And I'm going to try to leave the link in the description here so you guys can see the price and whatever it is they need to do. To adjust the menu, press and hold the left knob. And with the same knob, counterclockwise, you can actually choose English or Chinese. To reset the Bluetooth, slide the right knob counterclockwise, and then rotate this knob clockwise, and then you press in. And here's the firmware version. To get off the screen, press and hold the left knob. To access the effects, press and hold the right knob. And to change the parameters here, counterclockwise. To adjust the brightness, counterclockwise, the right knob. And to adjust the actual brightness, use this knob, the left side. Now each one of these effects, they have the same settings, so when you adjust the brightness or anything else here, CCT and all, it will be independent for each effect. To adjust the brightness, rotate the left knob up or down. To adjust the speed, right knob counterclockwise, and to adjust this knob here on the left. Then the effects, we have the CCT loop, fireworks, then we have the CCT flash, and then CCT pulse, strobe, welding. Again, the color temperature can be adjusted to your taste. Explosion, which is a little misspell here, a little typo here. Also the lightning, TV, bad bulb, fire. I'm gonna play this full time because this one is worth watching. And these are the speeds here. Speed number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1. And of course, you can adjust the color temperature on the fire, but why would you want a 6500 Kelvin fire? So leave it here back to 27. And then we have the paparazzi. And again, you can adjust the speed and all, and color temperature. And finally, the SOS. To get off the screen, press and hold the right knob. And that's the end of my review. I hope you found the content helpful. If you want to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, I would really appreciate it. It really helps me out here. So once again, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. This is the crib they rented for us. Check this out. All right, first day. It's gonna be great. Look at that Zhiyun gang right there.
It's gonna be amazing.
I appreciate the very detailed reviews, and I sit through every second of it.
Thank you so much.
Because I like the fact that you break down all the possible scenarios, all the details, where other reviewers just kind of give like an overview.
What can I do to make this even better?
Nothing.
Seriously?
Yeah, because you get straight to the point. See,
How long have you been watching my
a
content?
couple of years, probably maybe since like 2019.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
I understand you want to see the 500?
I do, because I need a light that I can take run and go.
Let's go.
That doesn't need a big ballast. Or
Yeah, let's go. Give me.